Well, good morning. I'm Richard Bunch, and I'm the Senior Minister at Unity of Richmond, and I just personally want to welcome you to this service this morning. Our goal and our desire is that when this service is over, you will feel spiritually lifted up, that you will know that you are a spiritual being having a spiritual experience in the human condition. We believe in love, we believe in peace, and we believe in joy. And so thank you for being with us.
Good morning, and a warm welcome to all of you folks here and all of our spiritual family online. Now I would like to share the daily word. World peace. I imagine a world transformed by peace and love. World peace begins within my mind and heart. Closing my eyes, I breathe deeply and envision every person bringing forth the love and peace of God. I see all the world's people surrounded by a healing light that transforms strife, anger, and division into reconciliation, peace, and unity. As I hold this vision, I see the entire world aglow with radiance. Harmony and cooperation heal the world's wounds and encourage love to flower in each person's heart. I carry this vision throughout my day. Divine love, expressing as me, sees the oneness regardless of apparent differences. Divine wisdom and understanding illumine my thoughts, inspire my words, and guide me to act in ways that bring peace to the world. From Matthew 5:9, Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God.
This world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is saving love. I will leave this life as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this life as it is, go inside to find my God. Go inside to find my God. Go inside to find my God.
Thank you, Heather, Ian, Forrest, Ryan. Thank you. Oh. And now I invite you to join with me in a prayer, relaxing into this now moment. Sweet Spirit, like the words in the song, we go inside, bringing our attention to our heart space, dropping down into that oneness with divine mind, breathing in peace, and breathing out. We relax into this now moment, affirming that we are spiritual beings, having a spiritual experience in this human condition. We join our heart and mind with spirit, love, God, Allah, name of the many, the one power, the one energy throughout the entire cosmos. God, the good, omniscient, all loving, all powerful. We know that in each moment, we are never alone. There is no place where God is not, no matter what the external circumstances and challenges may appear to be, no matter how compelling they may appear to be. The real truth of who and what we are is that divine mind. There is only one mind, creating love, expansiveness. And so we rest in that as we use our inner vision to see the world through the eyes of impartial love and compassion. Knowing that in each moment, each person we meet is either offering us love or calling for love. And our response is that of love, openness, acceptance. Choosing that in confidence, knowing that in each moment we are growing, expanding, sinking into this moment of love and light, resting. We gather this up and coming back into this now moment, coming back into the space where our physicalness may be. In each moment, we bring this love and light to the experience, and we release anything that appears to be a challenge, receiving the gift from that. We say, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are so grateful for this experience. And so it is, amen. And now this is the prayer that we pray with the Metro Richmond together. We pray for schools and educational institutions of metropolitan Richmond, for all superintendents, school boards, school administrators, PTAs, teachers, students, and staff, for the curriculum that is grounded in truth and meaning, for space to nourish the creative need in both teachers and students. So it is. Now I'd like to share with you the lovely opportunities. The first is, we usually host Caritas. In the month of August, it would have been the time for it. But in lieu of providing that, hosting and hospitality, we were providing the women's shelter with meal tickets through Kroger gift cards, which purchase meals and personal needs. So if you would like to participate in this, a gift of love, please contact the church office if you would like to donate. Today, our friend David is going to host the CVS flu shot clinic right here. Yay! That's right. David, yeah. So, sorry if you're live streaming, I guess you won't see it. But it's at noon here, right after the service ends, with David. $15, qualifying insurance accepted, scholarships available upon request. Thank you, David. Also, Unity of Richmond has the meditation with Richard Bunch, and the title, You Are Divine. It's a meditation live stream, Wednesday night, 6:30, Facebook. Another opportunity is a course with Richard Bunch called Finding Yourself in Transition. I think we can relate to this. It focuses on a book by Richard Brummet, and it's offered by Richard Bunch. Classes are held in person or online, September 15th. That's 4 Tuesdays, 7 to 9. Managing the ending, the chaos and the beginning, sharing concerns and opportunities, and looking for a new perspective. You are in charge. So register by emailing through Unity or calling Unity. The class is $30. The book is $10. Well worth it. Thank you.
Well, welcome to Face Mask Unity, this day before Labor Day. I welcome each and every one of you here. I welcome everybody who's online. I don't see any visitors here in the sanctuary, but I am sure there's some people maybe on for the first time online, and I just want you to know that we know who you are, that as you join us, we see you as a child of God, we see you as the love that God is, and we see you as the energy that God is. You are truly a spiritual being. So thank you for joining us, and I thank each and every one of you for being here this morning. I thank everybody who's online here this morning as we celebrate Labor Day. I know it's tomorrow, but we're going to celebrate it today in a little different way, as you'll find out. And so I welcome you again, and thank you for being here. I just know that each of us has the capacity to go within, to hear what we need to hear, to feel what we need to feel in this moment because of music and hopefully because of the message. And so I thank you again for being here, and I'm really urging everybody to stay away from the crowds, if there are any crowds this weekend, and everywhere you go to wear your face mask. Please do that. I think it honors everybody. Our affirmation this morning is that Unity of Richmond is abundantly blessed. Let's say this together very lightly. Unity of Richmond is abundantly blessed. Creative people are drawn to us. Divine ideas flow through us. And with God as our source, we accomplish mighty works together. So again, thank you for being here. And now let us prepare as Heather leads us in music.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here, sharing your beautiful energy with us. And thank you for those tuning in. We feel you and we love you. Thank you. Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a hunger, an endless aching need. But I say love, it is a flower, and you, it's only seed. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never takes the chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give, and the soul afraid of dying that never learns to live. When the night has been too lonely and the road as spring becomes the rose.
Thank you, Heather. That was beautiful. And Susan, thank you for that opening prayer and for being here this morning. I appreciate you. Well, I want to talk a little bit about Labor Day. Some of you may know the history of it, some of you may not. But you know, we're celebrating actually our 116th Labor Day tomorrow. And what we are being told by the media, of course, is, and what we hear about Labor Day is really more about Labor Day sales, Labor Day traffic, which I don't think will be quite as great this year, Labor Day hurricanes, they're being announced now, and Labor Day overall, to go out and have a great time. That Labor Day represents the end of the summer, and that what we're doing is preparing for really getting ready to go back to work full-time mentally, and getting ready for our children to go back to school. And we're aware and ready to move forward. That's what it usually means to us. It's a little different this year, although I must say we are going back to school, but not in person. We are not opening our church any further than we are right now, but we know that each and every one of you will be here during September, October, November, and December. And we are planning a Christmas celebration and a Thanksgiving celebration, a special Sunday. But you know, one of the things that's sometimes missing in the story of Labor Day is how it began. In 1982, the labor unions in New York City and laborers in New York City decided to have a Labor Day parade, a form of a peaceful protest, if you would. Not complaining, but honoring the changes that had been taking place and asking for more change. From that parade came a national debate, and from that national debate came came out of that national debate was Labor Day. That was passed in law on June 28th, 1884, not 1984. So it's been a while. And so we want to honor Labor Day today, but I want to do it a little differently. I'm going to take the idea of being in labor. And what does that mean? Both literally, and then what does it mean metaphysically? And in order to do that, I want you to prepare yourselves by watching this video clip that will come up in just a second of men who are on simulators for labor. And I don't know if you've seen any of them or not, but you'll get to see these two, okay? There are a couple little clips I put together for you to watch. Go ahead, let's have that now.
Others. Oh! This is. Oh! Whoa! Oh my! Oh! Oh! Oh, you got it. There you go. Oh, that is so uncomfortable.
A lot of vibration, and my muscles they feel like they're being pulled apart. Yeah. So what level is that?
So this is, intensity on this one is 20 right now.
And what's the high?
Well, we'll find out.
When we start hollering, oh, I felt that. Oh. Yeah, that's a lot more intense. It is a lot more intense. What are the breathing exercises? Ah! Oh my gosh! Oh gosh! Oh, just wait. Just wait for that one. I'm already sweating. Woo. I gotta go to a happy place in my mind. Ow! Oh my! Ow! Oh! I'm here for you. Oh gosh! I want to punch you in the face so bad. Hey, it might feel better. Oh no! Oh, here I go! Here I go! Ow! Oh, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Mom, I love you. Allison, I love you so much.
This at Bible college.
So much.
Well, I hope that didn't put anybody into labor, okay? But anyway, it was kind of cute. It's not something I'm volunteering for, although the last two guys were ministers, where their board asked them to do that in favor of Mother's Day, so it was taken a while back. And God bless them. I appreciate what they did. And I'm not suggesting our board come up with any idea like that. I think you're too kind, okay? So what I want to do is just go over very briefly the idea, and most of us know about labor, if we haven't had it, that there are 4 stages to labor. That number 1 is the stage of false labor. It is what happens when a woman thinks that she is in labor and then sometimes rushes over to the hospital to find out that she's not, and they send her back home. It is a time when, with false labor, that you think you're getting ready to have a child, and you are, but it might be several days later or even a week later, and I've heard of some cases even a month later, where you start to go into the second phase, which is actual labor. You know what I'm talking about, Heather. And yeah, you'll find out. And anyway, and so what we have is this idea that we move into actual labor itself. Next slide, please. Then, as we understand that, we start to understand that we call this real labor. Now, I don't know what it's like other than what I watched right there is the closest I've come to. I adopted, my first wife and I adopted our 2 children, so I didn't have that opportunity. I call it an opportunity to sit through that and be a part of that. Then the third part of labor, as each and every one of us knows, is called the delivery. It's that time where we are going to literally start to deliver, and the child starts to move down the birth channel. And as it turns its head properly and starts down that birth channel, it finally comes to that crowning point, and that is called birth. And as that happens, Vicki said that all of a sudden you feel complete freedom. You're excited, looking forward to that moment when that child is placed on your chest, where that child starts to nurse for the first time. That there's freedom. And she said, you know, you don't even think about the pain after that. There's some soreness, a little bit of pain, but nothing serious, and it's nothing like labor itself. And so this morning, what I wanted to do is just take these phases of labor and, as Unity would do, is look at them possibly in a metaphysical understanding and process so we can learn from them, okay? And so the first one that we have here, again, goes back to false labor, which is metaphysically, metaphysically worry energy, okay? It's worry energy. And so what happens is Jesus said, so never worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. That doesn't sound like a real positive message, but it is, in the sense that if we spend our time worrying about tomorrow, we can't do anything about the issues that are facing us today because we're trapped. And so nothing changes. And we get up the next morning and we feel the same way again. And the next morning the same way again. We don't give the opportunity for tomorrow to bring to us the issues that we need to step up to when we're not aware of that. When we just worry and worry and worry. Jesus said, don't do any good whatsoever. You'll just be wasting your time. So stop worrying. Step forward and be ready for tomorrow with a fresh mind, with faith, with understanding, with the ability to know that you can take care of the issues that you need to take care of tomorrow. So don't worry about them. Be focused now. Be in the now moment. You know, that's when we can take advantage of our creative selves. when we can take advantage of the power that lies within us, when we can take advantage of the opportunity to know that we are in charge of our lives. And so we can not worry about tomorrow, but be ready to go into real labor. And real labor represents opportunity. And opportunity, Plato said, let him who would move the world first move himself. And from Thomas Edison, opportunity is missed by most people because it comes dressed in overalls looking like hard work. I don't know about you, but I'd rather go to the beach or the mountains than do hard work, okay? And sometimes we take that attitude on in life, where we are stopped by what appears to will be hard work, where we aren't willing to not make a sacrifice, but make a choice in what others do so that we can make change in the world. You and I have an opportunity. In many ways today, we are in the midst of tremendous change, and I'll talk about it in a few minutes, and you know that. And what happens is that when we see change as an opportunity, we are able to step forward. But again, we have to understand that sometimes we resist because either we don't want to face an issue that has given us great concern, we don't want to face a person that maybe we feel has wronged us or maybe we've wronged. We don't want to step forward and make a difference because we're afraid of what our family or friends might say. Instead, what we do is that we, again, see ourselves avoiding hard work because sometimes it feels comfortable. I'm talking about hard work from the standpoint of going within oneself and finding out what's holding you in bondage, as we talked about last week. I'm talking about hard work as taking the time to do what you need to do to prepare yourself for change. I'm talking about hard work of sitting down with somebody that you have a difference with and talking it out and saying, I love you, even though we differ, even though we have a different opinion. I'm talking about the hard work of finding yourself and then finding those things within you that you really don't want to be there, but they're there. And you have to claim those as being there in order to resolve them, in order to let love encompass them. And as that takes place, then the love will share and break away any form of darkness or any form of harm or any form of forgiveness. You let love do that. And when we're able to do that, you see, we're able to be in real labor because what we're doing is looking at the opportunity ahead of us, not what's behind us. Looking at not what we've done in the past, but what we're going to do today, right now. Not in the future, today, right now. See, that's what happens when you don't worry about tomorrow. You have the time to take care of today, right now, in your life. And to step forward. And as we do that, we start to find that we have callings. Different ones of us have different callings. Some are called to change. Change in the form of some form of peaceful resistance. Some are called to make a change in their own life, how they see themselves, how they're showing up, and maybe wanting to show up differently. Some are called for this opportunity to be honest with oneself. And in that honesty, we grow. We evolve spiritually. We grow because we are eliminating anything that separates us from the Christ within. Eliminating anything that separates us from divine mind. Now, divine mind is already there. The Christ within is already there. But our thoughts and our actions sometimes can fool us, and we don't think that we are one, but we think that we are not together, that we are separate. And so as we step into this idea of real labor, we have that opportunity to grow and to know the Christ and to know the power within ourselves. And we do that through meditation. We do that through prayer. You know, I'm saying this over and over again. I feel like for 14 years I've been talking about pray, meditate, okay? And that's what we do, and that's what works. It works for me. And so I can only say that taking the time to have a spiritual growth plan and writing it out and following it, that's why you write it out, will help you take a hold of and be up front and be a part of any opportunities that you're called to. But when we are confused, when we are all into the game of life, when we are agreeing and disagreeing without love, then we feel separated and we are acting separately. When we step into our oneness, when we step into the idea that we are a part of the change that's needed in the world, no matter how small it might be, what happens is we change ourselves, and when we change ourselves, just that one little change actually changes the world. Actually changes the world. And then the other one, before we go away from opportunity, I do want to share a story with you. And I think it's so appropriate this time of the year. I don't know why, but it just seems to me. But there was a fellow who decided when he was about 24 years old that he'd run for state senate. And he got walloped. He got beat so bad that it was embarrassing. And so he said, I'll never be in politics again. So he started a business. Business was going along fine for about 5 years, and then the business failed. And it took this fellow 17 years to pay off the debt for the failure of that business. But he was bid to do it even though the failure was not all his fault. After going through that, somebody said to him, why don't you run for Congress? And he said, nah, I'm not a politician. Oh, come on, run for Congress. So he ran for Congress. And he got the same result, beaten up bad. And then things were changing in this country, and so he decided to run for Senate. But he couldn't learn that he wasn't going to win. And so he got beat again. And as most of you know by now, I'm talking about Abe Lincoln, who became our president after losing state Senate race, losing congressional race, losing a Senate race, failing in business, had the loss of his first love, his first wife died, and also experienced a great deal of pain when he went through the relief of his debt. But he was a man of honor. And you know, some reason, and I think of it as destiny, that he was elected to do what he did for our country, for all people in our country. Because when you are a slave holder, you are actually a slave. And when you're a slave, you don't feel opportunity. And thank goodness people can today feel opportunity. Maybe they feel they need more opportunity. But they can feel the fact that for 100 years, we've been making changes slowly and surely. And so therefore, we have this real opportunity, if you would. Now, the next one is delivery. Delivery is pretty important, and that is expectation. I don't know if you can have any sense of expectation when you're in labor. You certainly have it beforehand. I don't know if you can have any expectation just as you deliver, but I think so. That's what I'm told. That all the pain just goes away, and all of a sudden, you are expecting what you have been looking for 9 months, that child, to hold, to nourish, to love, and to even raise. And we know there are challenges to all of that, not the love, not the holding, but the raising of children. But we still have folks who want to continue to do that, and I give thanks for all the mothers who are here today. And I know it's not Mother's Day, it's Labor Day. But boy, did you go through Labor Day. And I appreciate that in each of you. Thank you. And as we have expectations, I want to just talk about a story, share a story with a young man who all his life wanted to fly. That's what his ambition was, is to go into the Air Force and be a jet flyer. Not a jet fighter, but a jet flyer. And as he did that, what happened was he went to college, finished college, and when he finished college, he enlisted, and he was turned down as a pilot because of his eyesight. So he could not fly. And he had to give up that dream, supposedly. And he spent 4 years in the service since he'd already enlisted, and he then got out. When he got out, he would watch the jets fly overhead, and he would think to himself, I wish that were me. He would watch the airliners fly over his head and say, I wish that was me. And one day he got this brilliant, crazy idea. So what he did is he went down to the Army surplus store. They used to have those when I was a kid. And what he picked up was, number one, he picked up a helium gas tank, huge, huge. Then he picked up 40 bags of balloons. Now, these aren't the kind of balloons that you think about with all the colors and everything. These were 40 balloons that are basically brown, okay, and only will hold so much helium. And he took those 40 balloons and he put them tied to a chair. And then he put the helium in the balloons, but before he did that, he tied a rope to the back of his pickup truck. Then he decided that he wanted to just sit in the chair for a moment and see what it would be like if he flew just a little bit. But he only raised up maybe an inch or two. And he thought, well, wow. So he cut the rope. And the next thing he knew, he didn't just ease up, he shot up. And he was at 11,000 feet, riding around in a chair. And he happened to ride over, the breeze caught him and took him over the airport, LAX. It's a true story. LAX obviously got him on the blimp and said, hey, there's a man sitting in a chair out here. Let's get some help for him. So they sent the jets out. A couple of jet flyers went out, or pilots went out, and what they did is he was going out to sea now because the wind shifted. He's now 14 hours in the air. So the jets would go around him so that they brought him back into land. And then eventually he was able, and he had a gun in his hand because what he was going to do is shoot a hole in the balloons just to make sure that he could get down. But he was scared to do that because he went up pretty fast. He didn't want to go down that fast, okay? And so what happened was they finally were able to help him get down. Don't ask me how, but he finally got down. When he got down and got out of the chair, they arrested him for flying without a license. And a reporter said, well, how does that feel? Why did you do this? He said, I just wanted to sit in a chair. I just wanted to sit in a chair and be comfortable. That's all I wanted to do. So sometimes what we need to do is just sit back and sit in the chair and let things happen in our lives. That as we do that, we are able to really experience the delivery process in our lives. You and I have that opportunity to be delivered each and every day. You and I have that opportunity to be delivered from anything that's in our way, anything that separates us as sin. You and I have that opportunity to stand tall, to make a difference, to make a pledge to ourselves, to make a pledge to others. I'm not talking about money now. I'm talking about time. I'm talking about effort. I'm talking about hard work. To make a difference in this world. You choose what you want to do or not do. That's your decision. But all of us are here together to create purpose. We're here together to make a difference. We're here together to heal. We're here together to be prosperous. We're here together in order to share our love with one another. And we do that at Unity of Richmond. Even with a pandemic, even with racial unrest, even with political unrest, even with the fact that we can't all be here on a regular basis, we are still community. And I am so proud of this community. There was a poll done recently by Pew Research, I think it was. 63% of ministers today are seriously considering getting out of ministry and getting another job because of what's happened. They don't know how to cope with it. And some days I don't know how to cope with it. I can't quite figure it out. But you guys know how to cope with it. Each and every one of you are watching online. You know how to cope with it. And the reason I know that is because you are keeping our ministry alive. You are literally living and delivering us day to day in a new direction, in new ways. If I can put it together next Sunday or the Sunday afterwards, and we'll put a notice out, I want to have a Zoom meeting after church. And I want to talk about change, because the next item is the birthing. And what the birthing represents is change. And as we talk about the change, we know that nothing's going to be the same as it has been. We're going to have to figure out new ways of having income come in. We're going to have to figure out new ways of being and what kind of staff we have. We're going to have to figure out, and we've already done a lot of that here, thank goodness. We're going to have to figure out how we together can share community when we can't be person to person, hand in hand, heart to heart. How we can do that without being in person, and we can. And as we start to do that, what we'll start to do is figure out the change that needs to take place in order to make that happen. And then we need to continue to do some of the things we've been doing. We continue to pray together. One of the things I'm really pleased with is that, and most of you know this because you've been around here long enough and you've come to meditations. Meditations every once in a while we would have, and then they just start off and they have 10 or 15 people, and then they drop down, drop down, drop. Finally, there are 2 people sitting there. And then we would stop for a while, and then we started back up, the same kind of thing happened. We've tried all kinds of ways to have that on a regular basis on Wednesdays. And I would say it's been successful on an individual basis, but it may not have been successful on a church-wide basis. For the last few months, I've been doing the Wednesday night meditations. Our average attendance is about 80 people. We've never had 80 people together in meditation in this church that I know of, unless it's during the service. So see, when we take on something different, then what happens is we grow. I grow when I do meditation regularly with other folks involved, when I do a guided meditation. Hopefully you grow as you take the time to meditate during the day, and hopefully on Wednesday evenings or whatever's right for you. We all are growing together. That's a change that we made that seems to be working. We're also putting out Monday Moment. I think we have about 50 people who watch that regularly. I'm not sure of the exact number. And it's just a 1-minute thing of my thoughts, and that's why it's 1 minute, because I'm not always able to think much longer than that. And we do that just as a pick-me-up or an idea or a thought. This past Monday I did, "You are the radiant life of God." And you are. And so we're making changes slowly. But what I would like to do is get feedback from you guys of what kind of change we think we ought to be looking at. And also some of the things that we think might be coming up that would be important to you and this ministry. And so we'll be sending a notice out this week. It'll either be this Sunday or next Sunday, making sure we can get everything working together in order to do that. And we want to protect it, and that's why it's taking a little time, because as some people know, there have been these games people have been playing, coming on to Zoom broadcast who aren't invited, and then kind of playing havoc with the whole meeting. We don't want that to happen. I'm afraid it's not going to happen, and we're finding a way to make sure it won't happen. So we need to understand that we are in the midst of not just regular change. We are in the midst of huge change. I hope when the vaccine comes, and I believe it will in time, when things start to work together so that we can eliminate our concern and be together on a normal basis, that certainly we might have more people than we're having now at church. I'm not concerned about it if we don't, because we have more people online and in church than we've ever had attend this church. It's been growing. And so our ministry has actually grown because of the change, and we were ready for it. And so change can be positive. It is always positive, actually. It can be hard. It can be hard work. And that's why sometimes we don't want to deal with it. And so let's together work to birth new change, to be catalysts for change, to look forward to change, and to figure out how to do it together in a meaningful and lasting way. And so, as we look at these ideas of change, we also know that each and every day, through change, we are rebirthed. Our physical birth was just the beginning. That as we grow, we are rebirthed over and over and over again. Because we change our attitudes, we change our thinking, we change our perceptions, and we become one with that divine spirit, the Christ, the expression that God is. So let's continue to go through labor, knowing that because of labor, there is this rebirth, there is this opportunity for life itself. God bless. One of the things I would like to share with you as we prepare for our affirmation, it's got a meditation, I'm sorry, got to look at the screen. What I want to do is share a meditation with you, okay? So let me start again, and let me prepare you as you feel the vibration of this heart chakra bowl. Allow your heart to open and to receive this energy. And so now we relax in the arms of love. We relax in the arms of peace. We relax in the arms of light. We relax because we know that we are peace, we are love, we are light, and we are wisdom. And as we feel that and experience that by living life fully, we come to a time when we just need to be quiet, to open our hearts. So gently focus your attention on your heart space. Allow yourself to feel and experience the vibrations of your heart space. Affirm from this heart space, I connect with the Christ within. Through this heart space, I know that I'm one with my Creator. Through this heart space, I can breathe lightly. Feel safe. Love life. And so I go to this heart space in this moment in silence, to go deeper, to know that I am one with the Christ. I am one with the Buddha. I am one with the Allah. I am one with the Krishna. I am one with each and every person that I come in contact with. And now I go to feel that oneness, to experience that oneness as I gently go into the silence. And now gently put your right hand in your heart space. Then put your left hand over the right hand. And as you gently cross them across your body, feel yourself experiencing the oneness, experiencing the love, experiencing this moment. Breathing gently. Breathing with the thought of opportunity. Breathing with the thought of change. Breathing as an expression of the Christ. And now as we gently open our eyes, put your hands, your fingers over your eyes. Spread your fingers apart. And then bring your fingers down slowly as you open your eyes and experience all that is around you. Just look around and see the love in the room. And do that in appreciation of one another. And so it is. Amen. Well, I have some thank yous. I'd like to thank the people in the sound room back there and appreciate each of them for doing the work they do. They come in early to make sure everything's set, and then they run into a problem or two, and they get it fixed by 11 o'clock. I mean, sometimes it's 10:58, but they get it fixed. That's all that's important. And we appreciate them for that, okay? Yeah. And then for our band, these three gallant people, okay? Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Forrest. And thank you, Heather, for the music you brought to us this morning, what you're going to bring to us in just a moment. I know it'll be beautiful. And now what I'd like for us to do is prepare to give our gifts. You can do that by going to 77977, pulling that up, go to Unity of Richmond. When you go to Unity of Richmond, it will offer you the opportunity to make a gift. You can put a Kroger's card on there if you would like, or money for a gift card. We'll get the gift card for you. Whatever you would like, however you would like to show up with that, is available to you. We also have our online giving. We also can go to our webpage still and do that. We're having some difficulties with a new webpage, but we're going to get those straight eventually. Every time we get ready to bring it out, it seems to have a little glitch, and we'll get that straight. I'm sorry. Because our present webpage, we're very aware of, is not in very good shape. But that's because we're closing the other one down. And the other thing I'd like to share with you, the good news, is that starting on Tuesday, we are going to have an elementary school here of 10 elementary age children. Each of them will have a laptop, and each of them will be going to school online. And we have 10 now. We're looking for up to 15. That is going to generate enough money so that we are no longer, and I'm affirming this, $1,000 a month behind on our budget. We're going to be ahead of our budget if everybody continues to give as they've been given, and hopefully even more sometimes. And so I just honor each of you for staying with us, hanging in there, and for blessing us with your tithes and offerings. So let's share together our prosperity blessing. Divine love, expressing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. You see, I am grateful.
to each other in a circle, in a hoop that never ends. Have you ever heard a wolf cry to the blue corn oak, or let the eagle tell you where he's been? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? How high does the sycamore grow? If you cut it down, then you'll never know. And you'll never hear the wolf cry to the blue corn oak. For whether we are white or copper skin, we need to sing with all the voices of the mountain. We need to paint with all the colors of the wind. For you'll own the earth until all you'll own is your mountain. You can paint with all the colors of the wind.
Thank you, Heather and the band, and thank you, Reverend Richard, for your message. And right now, we give thanks together. We give thanks for the gifts that will support our mission of creating a spiritually awakened world. Thank you. And now our prayer for protection. Let's see, together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.